Hey, what's up guys? Steve Collins here. In this video, we're going to be discussing how to improve aerobic conditioning, specifically for the HYROX competition. And in this video, I'll be taking you through 3 different methods of how to do it. So it's important to know that the HYROX competition uses both metabolic systems, the aerobic system and the anaerobic system. However, is predominantly aerobic based. So it requires high levels of cardiovascular endurance and fitness. In your preparation, you'll have to train both. However, both can't be maximized at the same time. So during your preparation for your competition and in your training prep over the year, you'll have to prioritize one more than the other, depending on how far out from competition you are. The main reason why you need to improve your aerobic conditioning is simply because the greater that aerobic ceiling is, the longer you'll be able to do more work, compete and train before the anaerobic side starts kicking in and producing lactate. Regardless, you want to get faster without getting fatigued, and that's what we're going to talk about how to do. So let's get into it. The first method to improve your aerobic conditioning is to use the cardiac output method, otherwise known as steady state cardio. This method will build the vascular system, the heart, and the efficiency of how your heart pumps blood around the body. As a rule of thumb, you must keep your heart rate between 120 to 140, 150 beats per minute and work for at least 20 minutes, up to 60 to 90 minutes or even longer. So if you are new to this type of training and conditioning, I would recommend 20 to 30 minutes of work 2 to 3 times per week. And if you are more of the experienced individual athlete, then 60 to 90 minutes once or twice per week. Now, if you don't have access to a heart rate monitor, strap or watch, simply use what's called the talk test. You should be able to maintain a conversation at the pace that you're training at. You can use any form of cardio. If you're at home, treadmill, bike. If you're outdoors, go for a swim, go for a run. And if you're at the gym, you can use sleds and prowlers. I think it's a good opportunity to work at those low intensities and put on a podcast or a Netflix show and just unwind. To spice this method up even more, you can try nasal only breathing. Only using your nose to breathe requires really high levels of focus, and you also learn how to control your state, your parasympathetic state. And that state is that calming, that relaxation state. So you can't always be in this uncontrolled, heightened sympathetic state. Learning how to control your autonomic system and essentially switch on this parasympathetic state will really help you control your own physiology and your own heart rates when you're stressed and fatigued. Not only that, but you'll also activate the diaphragm, the breathing muscle. It helps you breathe better, breathe in, breathe out more efficiently, and it will also help you stabilize the spine better, which many people under stress, fatigue and tiredness lose that simple ability. It will also help dilate blood vessels and the airways to help your oxygen efficiency increase. However, when you do nose only breathing, your ability to produce force and power is decreased. And that's why we don't use this method of nasal only breathing at high intensities. We want to use it low to moderate levels. And if you're someone who snores or has sleep apnea, this method is perfect for you. It will help your breathing efficiency, it will help you sleep better, and it will help you recover. Even if you've had a broken nose or a deviated septum, it will still help you. The next method to improve aerobic conditioning is to use the explosive repeat method. This will improve your muscular endurance and target specific muscle groups, which is perfect for anyone who fatigues on sled pushes in the quads or burpee broad jumps. You can use this method to help improve localized fatigue in those areas. This will improve endurance of those fast twitch muscle fibers by increasing mitochondria. And it will also improve elasticity and energy transfer, which is why you want to choose cyclical movements. Squat jumps, repeat broad jumps, burpees, med ball throws, these cyclical movements. You need to work really hard for 8 to 15 seconds and then rest 30 to 60 seconds. Now you can do as little as 5 seconds of work, and your rest periods can go up to 90 seconds, depending on the level that you're at and depending on the exercise that you choose. You may only want to start with 5, 6, 7 sets, and as you develop over time, increase the volume up to 15. A simple way to use this strategy could be to say do sled pushes every minute on the minute. So you may do 10 seconds of work and have the remaining 50 seconds to recover. This method is all about quality over quantity. If you find that you are getting sloppy with your technique, there's two things you need to do. Either work for less time or increase your rest period. And the last method to improve aerobic conditioning is to use the threshold method. This method is probably the hardest aerobic type of method to use before you get into the anaerobic side of things. You're really going to be pushing the boundaries of that aerobic power and that aerobic capacity, your ability to do hard work for long sustained periods without the accumulation of lactic acid and lactate. Now, to do this method, you work between 3 to 5 minutes, and the goal is to maintain a good level of power output. You then take 2 to 3 minutes of rest period and you do between 3 to 5 sets. You can choose any mode of cardio to do this. What's really important, the most important thing, is that you do not build up lactic acid, because then that will indicate that we're getting into that anaerobic zone. Unless you do a lab test, you don't know what that anaerobic threshold is. A simple way to test it is to do what's called a modified Cooper test. Now, on a bike or run or swim or row, you could do 6 minutes of work and take the average heart rate. Now, with that average heart rate, plus or minus 5 beats, that will give you an estimation on your anaerobic threshold. So when you do your training, if you are tracking heart rate, you want to work between that range. So what we're trying to do here is work just below that anaerobic threshold so that we can raise the ceiling of our aerobic capacity. So it's real hard work without dipping into that anaerobic side of things. It's a pace that we can just maintain, but still really, really difficult. If you guys have any questions on aerobic conditioning or any of the methods discussed today, go ahead, drop them into the comment section below. And like the video, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks guys for taking the time to listen and watch. See you on the next one.